Today is going to be another refrigerator roulette. But before we get to that, I just want to talk a little bit about the channel. Chris is still a big part of this channel, but he is working on some other art projects at the moment, and I've decided that I'm going to try to just take over for a couple of months to see how I do with the filming and the editing and stuff like that. I want you to keep your eye out for some new content. My vision is to not only do food, but maybe some travel and maybe some DIY project. This channel is called A Tasty Life, and Chris and I both view it as sort of like not just a recipe making channel, but also a little bit of a lifestyle channel. And so we were in danger of getting a little bored with making food. I won't lie, like I haven't posted in a while because I couldn't come up with recipes that even interested me. Got hopefully this coming week excuse me, hopefully this coming week is my mother-in-law's birthday, and I've promised her an Olive Garden feast here at the house. And so we'll be making all the great classics. We'll be making Zuppa Toscana, we'll be making breadsticks and salad and tour of Italy and tiramisu for dessert. I hope you all will be interested in that. The other thing I hope to do is feed 5 people, 5 adults, for under $70 in this challenge. I think it's possible. Before I go into the making of the recipe, I'm going to show you where I sourced my ingredients and how I got to the conclusions that I've got. Some will be, frugal or less expensive ways of thinking about making such a big meal and such a fancy meal and such a well-known meal. I think I can do it. I think it's going to be very interesting because I think things are getting pretty serious with the government, and I just kind of want to do my part and figure out this stuff with y'all, and maybe make a great meal for not a lot of money. We'll see what happens. So I hope you stick with us. Hope you will like and comment and subscribe. I have to say all that, but nonetheless I hope you do, because I'm really enjoying myself with these videos. It's a big step for me, and I really hope you enjoy what comes next. So let's get an evaluation of the ingredients we're going to use today, because this is what we call refrigerator roulette. So this is like a kitchen clean out. Here we've got some old tomatoes. This is a mix of onions, peppers, yellow and green squash, and we're gonna incorporate this into our enchiladas, and I'll show you how in a minute. We have about 12 to 14 old corn tortillas. We're gonna toast those up and stuff. Here we got 1 jalapeno, a whole avocado, half an onion. I'm gonna show you how to make homemade cream of celery soup. This is powdered milk that I've rehydrated. Right there. Okay, and then we're going to use 2 different types of cheeses. I've got some Mexican cheese that I've got to use, and then some white cheddar that I have to use. And then we're going to season everything with this McCormick hot taco seasoning. To start off, I'm gonna use this big skillet here, and I'm gonna heat it up real good. And here I have in this cup some leftover bacon grease. I'm I like to use this whenever I can. This is going to add like a really nice smoky, briny flavor to whatever you cook. And so I'm going to scrape this out. In normal enchiladas, let's face it, you know, these aren't going to be normal. You wouldn't ever use this much vegetable, I don't think. Probably some onion, probably some garlic if you had it. But as I said before, since this is a refrigerator roulette, we're going to use up what we have. And I had, I made this because I had to freeze these vegetables. That's another tip. Like if you're going, if your vegetables are going bad or about to go bad in your refrigerator, you can always dice them up and make like an aromatic mix like this. So here we go. And then along with that, I'm gonna use up these old tomatoes that I, you know, just chopped. And I'm gonna cook this pretty much for about, I'd say about 10-15 minutes. I'm going to start a timer. Let's go 15 minutes and see where we get. It's been about 15 minutes and our vegetable medley has cooked down quite a bit. The yellow squash hasn't quite gone down as much as I want to, but I think after the next step, everything will get pretty blended pretty perfectly. And what do I mean by that? So now I'm going to add a whole pound of ground beef. We're going to cook this down with our taco seasoning. This is like 59 cents a packet and it's like really good and really cheap. So like what I'm going to do is I'm going to season this whole mix with this entire packet of taco seasoning. I'm going to let it fry in there really good. You're supposed to add water. I will in a little bit once the ground beef gets broken up and acquainted a little bit in this pan. The other advantage of adding this much vegetable is that your beef goes so much further. So our beef is pretty much done. You can see that there's been a lot of oil collecting on the side and a lot of fond. We're going to keep that fond on the bottom of the pan, but what we're not going to do is keep the grease. So I'm going to take a paper towel here and dab it around the outside of the pan and collect as much oil as I can. About 6 to 8 ounces of water. I'm going to go ahead and put this in. So just like you would do a regular taco recipe, you're supposed to deglaze this pan with some water. And when that's all done, I'm going to let all the water basically evaporate. And then I'm going to cool this to room temperature so we can use it as our enchilada filling. Okay, now we're going to begin our salsa to cover the enchiladas with. So what we're going to do is heat up 2 cups of water in a pretty nice sized saucepan, and we're going to put in whole 1 jalapeno, half of an onion, and because we like garlic, I'm going to put like 5-6 cloves of medium cloves of garlic, and we're going to boil this until they're soft. So we got the vegetables boiling for the salsa. What I've done here is I've heated up a cast iron skillet, preheated it to about medium high. I'm going to turn it down a little because what we're going to do next is we're going to toast all of our corn tortillas. And I've fixed a little basket here with a dishcloth. I'm going to wrap them up and keep them warmish after they're done cooking. So what you do is I'm going to use this clean paper towel, dip it in a little olive oil, and like just barely glaze the pan. And then should have had these out before. They're all falling apart. You're gonna toast these. I'm gonna toast these on either side until they're, you know, they got spots on them. I'll show you in a second. Really, there's a lot of steps to this, but this is the fiddliest part. This is the part I really don't like to do. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's got spots on either side. That's pretty good. I'm gonna put it in this basket here and wrap it up. And the reason why we do that is that if we just did the enchiladas with this, they'd crack and fall apart. Okay, so now we're ready to make the broth that's going to go with our salsa. This is going to be the green part. And so what I got here is all of our vegetables in the broth. I think what I'm going to do is sorry about that. I'm having a horrible time staying in frame today. I'm going to add this to the blender, and not the broth, just a little bit of the broth right away. So all of our garlic cloves, all of our onion. I'm going to pour a little bit of this pot liquid in here. Then I'm going to set this aside. And then I'm gonna blend this in my Vitamix. That's part one. And then I'm gonna put all of this avocado in. I'm going to put a generous grind of salt. Since I'm having trouble staying in the shot, I'm just going to focus on the food. So what you're going to do here is I'm going to teach you how to make a bechamel sauce with celery. And that's what cream of celery soup is. Cream of anything is a bechamel sauce with whatever vegetable, mushrooms, cheese. Cheese is not a vegetable, but you get the idea. I've got about 3 tablespoons of butter here. I'm going to heat up my pot again, and I'm going to let it melt. While it's melting, I'm going to go ahead and add in, this is about a third of a cup of diced celery. Why celery? It's what I had. It's what I want to use. I don't have mushrooms. This could be easily just plain onion. You know, you could make a really cool caramelized onion, you know, bechamel, cream of onion soup maybe. That would be great. Then I'm going to add some pepper. Some salt. Touch of chicken powder. Get a clean spoon. I'd say that's about 1/4 teaspoon. Stir this around. Try not to let the butter brown, okay? I'm going to stir this around until, as you can see, the celery gets soft. Okay, I adjusted you a little bit so you can see a little better. So this celery is pretty close to translucent. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 tablespoons of flour. So it's equal parts flour, equal parts fat. And you're going to toast this. They say to do it for a minute. I hardly ever do it for a minute. That should be good enough. Now we're going to pour in about 2 to 3 cups of milk. According to my pan, that's 2 cups. We're going to stir this until the flour dissolves. I'm going to keep stirring. You could definitely, let this celery like completely dissolve if you want. Like cream of celery soup, I don't know if you've ever seen it. The celery's pretty blousy and almost blends into the sauce. You have to really search for it almost. So now we're starting to get a little thick here. My pan is about a medium heat. Okay, getting there. Let's see, I'm going to add a little more milk. It's probably about 1 more cup. I have some water sitting beside me. This is probably about 8 ounces of water. Sorry, 8 ounces of water. And this is just in case things get a little out of hand and things get too thick. We're starting to thicken up pretty good. Cool to have that clean spoon. I want to show you how you know your cream of celery soup is thick enough. Keep in mind that mine can be pretty loose because I'm going to include that avocado sauce that I just made, the avocado sauce I just made from the blender. Okay, let's see. So we want to see if it coats the back of a spoon. So I have that clean spoon, dip it in there, and then do this. If it doesn't run together, it's thick enough. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add all of this avocado sauce. Made quite a bunch. Go ahead and stir this in. Now we have it. Really, really nice, creamy avocado sauce. And the reason why we did it this way, we went through the trouble of making a cream sauce. I'm going to turn this down to low. We went to the trouble of making a cream sauce for this is because now I'm pretty confident that when I bake this with the enchiladas, my sauce won't split. Now we get to assembly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some sauce in the bottom of the pan. Go. I'm gonna take a tortilla, put about a teaspoon of cheese in, maybe a generous teaspoon of filling. By the way, this is the filling ended up looking like. Looks pretty festive, I think. Now, pull this pretty tight. Roll your tortilla and stick her seam side down into the pan. One more. Do one more on camera just for feeling. Go. Roll it pretty tight and stick it seam side down. Pan. See you when I'm finished.